All right, folks. I want to talk about a case in recent news that has to do with a shooting in Kansas City, Missouri, of a 16-year-old by the name of Ralph Yarl. That's Yarl. This case is starting to steam up some pretty heavy issues and topics, and it's going to be one that we definitely need to pay attention to. We don't know all the details, but for the most part, we do know that this kid was shot in his head and in his arm from the reports that I've seen. The thing is, we don't know what happened before that. However, whatever happened before that needs to come into extreme question. The guy who shot this kid, they haven't released his name. They haven't released his name, and they also released him from custody. I don't know, based on whatever evidence they had or thought they had. But here's where I'm going to go with this, and I'm probably going to do multiple videos of this as it develops because I don't have all the details, right? The reports are the kid showed up to pick up his siblings, right? He showed up to pick up his siblings, and he went to the wrong address. Apparently, the homeowner did not want this kid on his property. So the reports say he opened the door and shot the kid. And I'm also hearing reports that he shot through the door. Then I'm also hearing reports that he shot through the window. But this is extremely important because when we look at Kansas City law, which I'm about to get off of here and go into their self-defense and into their use of force, including deadly force laws, to find out what is going on with this particular case and how the laws, kind of coincide with this case. I'm sure something's going to come back a little later. Like, I'm sure people are going to start talking, things are going to be discovered. And I got a good feeling that this homeowner is probably going to be taken into custody at some point. And here's the reason why I say that. Because when we look at a jury should look at, number one, what's reasonable, right? They should do a reasonable test. When you open the door and the stranger is at your door, is it reasonable to pull your gun out and shoot him? To be honest, the answer is no. Now, there's some other things that that goes into effect with this when we're talking about what's reasonable. And that is, did the person, the homeowner, give a warning? He could say, hey, this guy was on my property. It sounds like it's clear that the kid was not trying to break in, no forced entry, anything like that. So if he didn't want this kid on his property, I mean, even if you went to the door and said, hey, I don't want you on my property, you need to leave now, right? That may have given the kid a chance to say, wait a minute, I'm at the wrong house. I don't know where I'm at. Okay, sir, I'm out of here, right? But it's not reasonable to just open the door for a stranger and pull your gun out and shoot them. Otherwise, you would have a lot of dead Jehovah Witnesses that come, excuse me. Oh my God, what was that? You would have a lot of Jehovah Witnesses that would be shot and possibly killed if that was the case. So that's why I'm going to really be paying attention to this case. Like, there were probably no warnings given. This sounds like an irrational act. It sounds like something that was, completely unreasonable, right? Whether we want to make that a racial thing or not is completely unreasonable. Whether it was a white person or a black person who was shot. But right now, it sounds like this kid is in kind of like some critical condition after being shot in the head. There were reports that said that he actually was able to run to, I guess, a nearby neighbor. And police still treated him like he was a criminal. Now, these are the reports, these initial reports. I'm sure things are going to come out. I'm sure things are going to change. But if you're a self-defender and you use a firearm for self-defense and home defense, this is a case that you better pay close attention to, right? I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to dig into their statutes to see what the law says about defending your home, whether or not they have the castle doctrine, what's required for the use of deadly force in these situations. I already know the answer, but I definitely want to check what are they statutes, what are they laws saying about this. So if you haven't, the kid's name is Ralph Yarl, Ralph Yarl. That's his name. He's a 16-year-old kid in Kansas City, Missouri. Research the case, but let's pay close attention to that. In the meantime, stay safe, stay vigilant.